My name is Manu. I'm presenting Roll Your Own modules at the Super Booth, and we don't have all the modules here, but a couple. For example, the aperture, it's a low pass gate, VCA, VCF combination with a nice feature. It's the so-called clunk feature. It's kind of release envelope, internal release envelope, so you can ping it. We have the amp mix, and I like it. I use it myself because it's kind of slim. You have 4 channels to 1 out, but you can take out the individual channels, so you can use the single channels as attenuators and also as a booster, so you can boost by 6 dB. If you want, you can use the out of the first channel to the input of the second one, and so you have a clipping stage as you want. And if nothing is plugged into the input of the you can use to dial in a CV of 0 to 5 volts, which is often kind of handy if you need an offset somewhere for CV functions. There's this kind of triple VCA, which is 3 times a linear VCA, good for control voltages and so on and so on. But you have the option on the PCB to combine them in a different way, so you have different characteristics. You have linear on the first, exponential, and more exponential. Then we have these little sequences here, which are very basic, but the good thing is you have 5 steps. You don't have 8 or or 4 steps or so. You can limit them to 3, 4, or 5 steps, and I often use them for CV modulation, so filters and so on and so on. And if I have a sequence of 8 steps or 16 or whatever, which is driving a VCO and VCA and that kind of stuff, it's really nice to have a sequence of 5 steps which works against that structure on the VCF, so it doesn't get so boring so easily. This is that one. Filter VCA combination. What's also interesting, seems to be boring until you really use it. The transistor logic. Not in use right now, but you can do very nice rhythmical variations of clocks only by hardwiring the transistor logic. It's really interesting. So, for example, if you combine 2 clocks in different speeds, combining them on the NAND gate or AND gate or XOR gate or whatever, and then sending them, controlling the sequencer as clock, then you have stops and you have quick movements, slow movements, and so and it's not this typical Berliner Schule all the time the same thing, you know. This sequencer also has the possibility to drive it by CV instead of clock, so you can use any kind of control voltages, LFOs, ADSRs, keyboard CVs, whatever, to drive the sequence. What makes it possible, for example, to generate a programmable quantizer. You know, you can readjust incoming CV voltages to a new voltage and then build your grid. So this is kind of nice. It has the possibility to extend it by this kind of trigger expander, where you can take out the single gates or summed all together on one output. And you can jumper them to use gates or triggers. The left one, as you see, is used as gates, and the right one is a bit shorter. It's used as triggers. And what happens right now here, it's not so spectacular because the sequence here is kind of monotonous, but I drive all these 4 sequences by a clock. They're running parallel, and I'm using the roll your own path sequential switch to switch between these 4 sequences. Should be audible now a little bit. So you can switch between CVs. You can also switch between audio. If you have 4 oscillators or whatever, you can switch them rhythmically to one output, which is kind of interesting. You get this kind of, you can do this kind of hard-cutted, like Nine Inch Nails, use this kind of straight, fast cuts of different audio material all the time. This kind of stuff is you can do it with a switch. Kind of interesting. And you can also drive it by CV instead of clocks. You have 2 different CV inputs then, where you can use only the positive half of the wave, or on the other input you can use both the positive and negative half of the wave to drive the sequence further. And the optodist is a kind of distortion overdrive thing, which you can control the gain also by CV, which can be used as a VCA then. So that's it.